Good morning, my friends. It's the 13th of October 2014, Mr. Max Bliss, and I'm out in the countryside enjoying a walk, which is always lovely. Beautiful. And I'm looking up at a little patch of the sky where there's a break in the trees, and lo and behold, I can see a very, very dramatic change in the cloud formations. And basically this morning was blanketed with clouds, and yesterday was pretty miserable, rained the weekend, and strangely enough, statistical analysis demonstrates that in France, in the southwest of France and in the majority of France, the majority of the rain falls on the weekends. That's evidence that we can absolutely ascertain from statistical data that proves that the rainfall is mostly at weekends. Now, I am going to suggest that this covert forcing program, this covert climate forcing program, which I believe that we're witnessing a pass of now with these EMF frequencies affecting the clouds. I will say that I have been researching some work by a Royal Society fellow, or a fellow of the Royal Society, from the late 19th century called J.J. Thomson. And I'm reading one of his books called Electricity Through Gas, I think. Oh, I could be wrong about the title of the book. But basically his book is about understanding the electricity in our atmosphere. And at the beginning of the book he says this is of vital importance for meteorology. So it's quite clear, and he actually states it in the book, that it will take a low amount of electricity to control the weather. And I believe electromagnetic frequencies are the method. And I'm going to speculate now that, in fact, the development of radar, which was first the cathode ray and the synchrotron, the magnetron and the cyclotron and various other connected technologies, were first developed around the turn of the century. However, it wasn't for another 30 years before this technology was employed for detecting aircraft in the sky. This magical new technology called radar. Like I say, 30 years was the period of development before this technology was used to detect aircraft. And it is my belief, and I intend to prove it, that the radar and the associated technologies which were first developed 30 years earlier, it is my speculation that this was purely because of the search to direct electromagnetic energy into the atmosphere for the purpose of weather and climate control at the turn of the last century. And I intend to prove that, and I believe that I will. Already I'm starting to find very strong indicative evidence to suggest that it will be the case. And quite clearly, that would then begin to fill in some important pieces of the puzzle, join some important dots to see the bigger picture, that there has indeed been a very long-term goal to control the weather and climate. I will also add that the first official scientific investigation into weather modification or weather control was from the Academy of Sciences in Bavaria in 1772. So this is indeed an old school agenda, and at that time I will also add that the Rothschilds funded a certain individual called Adam Weishaupt to begin the Illuminati. And I believe the Illuminati was an organization that was set up to continue the work of the scientists from the Royal Society and the philosophers and the elites of the day of the Age of Enlightenment. I have heard this mentioned at the Climate Engineering Conference and the Age of Enlightenment, and even technocracy. And I also heard of geoengineering to human engineering, which is an absolute real agenda, human enhancement, eugenics, transhumanism, for the enslavement of mankind, so that the elites can have absolute control over the planet and create a society where the lower classes will never rebel against this insane elite who have taken it upon themselves to work for hundreds of years to create this agenda for the New World Order using science and technology to implement a scientific dictatorship. And we're seeing that come into view now with programs like Horizon 2020, Agenda 21, which is also known as Sustainable Development. These programs are wrapped in language that would appeal to people who are uneducated to the reality of the bigger agenda. Most people who are concerned about the planet, because they've been getting propaganda since the 60s, when Maurice Strong began his drive from the United Nations to create this fear that the planet cannot sustain the number of people. 2/3 of the world's nation have population decline. That means the fertility rate of women is below 2.1. And even if it was 2.1, that would have to mean that every single woman would bear children, and the average for every single woman would be 2.1. So overpopulation is a myth. The good earth is bountiful and has plenty of resources for us all to have, except of course the obscenely rich elites have been steadily taking control over all the resources available. They've been using groups like the Bilderberg Group to pressure various governments to privatize all the resources and utilities so that the corporations have control. If we look at who owns the corporations, it's like a spider's web. All the corporations are owned by certain hedge funds and banking groups and very, very powerful and obscenely rich individuals that make up a very, very select group of obscenely rich people. And these are the people behind these programs of climate forcing, a covert program that has been in development, in my opinion, since that day, right back in 1772 at the Bavarian Academy of Sciences, when they declared a prize for the best ideas to control the weather. Just at the same time when the Illuminati was infiltrating the Freemasonry systems, and a genuine plot was discovered by the Bavarian government when a dispatch rider was struck by lightning. I myself have been to the archives in Regensburg and confirmed This is a true story, my friends. There really was documented evidence of a worldwide plot to take over the world for this elite group of obscenely rich people, stemming from the age of Enlightenment, the royals and the richest people in society using science and technology to develop the infrastructure to create a scientific dictatorship to rule the world and enslave the people. So much so that they intend and are doing dumbing down the human race and physically altering us with food additives, mass medication like fluoride and aspartame and all the medicines that they use, the poisons they introduce into our system and our water, as well as nanoparticles in the atmosphere. Nanotechnology can be derived from aerosols. I have seen papers from the 90s confirming this. This is not fear porn, this is a reality. This is their intention. And it's not over yet, my friends. So please, do all the research you can to confirm and verify all the information you possibly can and raise awareness, because we all make a difference. The only way we will reach critical mass and see the population waking up to this tiny percent of insane elites is by participating. Every single one of us, no matter what we do, how big or how small, we all must participate in some way in our emancipation. Because this, my friends, is the reality. We are in a fight for our freedom, for our children's freedom and our children's children. We are at a situation, we're at a crossroads, a fork in the road, where we can finally break free from the grip of the royalty, of the oligarchy, of those obscenely rich people who have no real right to be in their privileged position, mostly achieved through murder, mass murder, wars, and trickery, conceit, deception. These people do not deserve their positions. They have no right to decide whether or not you should be allowed to have children and how intelligent your children should be. They should not be dumbing us down by chemical means, vaccines, etc., exposing us to heavy metals. It's no coincidence that the elites all have nice water supplies and eat organic foods. They don't eat the GMOs, which are designed to make us sterile and to alter our DNA. They can rewrite DNA with genetically modified food. This is a weapon. So please, my friends, the facts are out there, and united we make a massive majority. I know many people are asleep, but they are waking. Many people are waking, and we have to arm ourselves with the only weapons we've got, and that is knowledge. Because it all works by deception. They are lying and deceiving us all. Once you understand the deception, you will no longer be fooled, and neither will everyone you know. And this is where we will make the difference, my friends. The truth will set us free. Take care. Bye for now.